Hello, this is Howard Cooper from Rapid Change Works, and today we're asking the question, can rapid change really happen? I mean, seriously, someone's had a problem for years and years and years, and it's very severe, it's very difficult. Can they really make a change? Well, here's the thing. Having worked as a rapid change consultant for years, I have an unwavering belief, because I've seen it, that real positive and pervasive change can happen quickly. And yet at the same time, I also understand why there seems to be some quite very often tightly held beliefs that people have around the idea that if someone's had a problem a long time or it feels very severe, how could it possibly change? Because of course, if they've tried lots and lots and lots of different things and different strategies and the problem's never really gone away or it hasn't had much reduction, then it would of course create the illusion that the problem was there to stay, or that how could anything work? So here's my take on it. Number one, I think there's an idea that if someone is doing the wrong tools or the wrong things for a long time and they consistently don't work, of course it would create a pattern where people think nothing's going to work. And most of the problems that I see, whether it's anxiety or weight loss or insomnia or depression, revolve around people trying versions of distraction, positive thinking, take some deep breaths, or try not to think about it. And none of those things historically work so well. So it's a little bit like saying, you know, I've been using the wrong tool for 30 years, so I don't believe that if I use the right tool, that would help. Well, that doesn't make sense to me. So I would invite people to open back up to the possibility that what would happen if you could find the right approach. The other thing that I'd like to kind of comment on is this. I think some people confuse the idea of rapid results and rapid change. So here's the thing, right? I actually lost about 4.5, 5 stone about 5-6 years ago, and I've pretty much kept it off. But what I noticed is this. I changed the way I was eating quite quickly. I literally got to a point where I realized I was eating too much junk and not exercising enough and really not looking after myself in the way that probably I should have been. And so I decided to do something about it, and I did. However, it took a while. It was about a year of doing that consistently before I actually lost that weight and hit my target goal. And then here's what would happen. People would see me who hadn't seen me for a while, and then they'd go, "Whoa, what happened to you? You've changed." As though the change happened when they saw it. As though the change happened when I lost the weight. But that's not true. Losing the weight, that was the result of the change. The change happened the moment I made a decision to go like this and to change my thinking and to take different action. The actual change that led to that happened in a heartbeat. There's an interesting question, which is, how long do you reckon it takes for a cruise ship to turn 180 degrees? So it sounds horrible, but let's say someone fell overboard and now it's battle stations. Let's go back and go and see if we can get the person. You don't want to fall overboard, because apparently it takes around 2 hours for the ship to turn a full 180 degrees. And I often think about how strange that must be for the captain of the ship, because the captain of the ship presumably goes, right, let's turn around, and probably turns the wheel, and now it's facing everything within the ship very quickly is now geared up to start changing its course. That change in direction to steer it a whole opposite way takes a heartbeat, takes a second. But the ship doesn't turn or hasn't fully gone all the way around for another 2 hours, which means imperceptibly, think about this, the captain turns the wheel and it would look, to all intents and purposes, like nothing's really happened immediately. But if he holds course and just keeps that new direction, that's when you begin to see the results. The change happens in an absolute heartbeat. Now, here's the thing. If someone has a problem, then the chances are what they have is some patterns of thinking or some ways that thoughts are emerging that's leading to some unpleasant sensations or unpleasant responses in the body. And because people think that they've had it a long time, again, they think it's hard to get rid of. But how long does it take a computer to delete a folder or a file that you created 10 years ago versus a file or a folder that you created 5 minutes ago? It's the same kind of process. You drag it and you put it in the trash can. Wow, that's American, isn't it? You put it in the rubbish bin, yes, on the computer. And then you empty the bin metaphorically. It doesn't take longer to do that. You're just changing patterns, and that's all. So the way I look at it is, if you have some unhelpful patterns that are coming up, if you come and see someone who knows how to change that kind of unconscious processing, then there's no reason why you can't make some quick and rapid changes. Now, I have people who will see me for things like fear of flying. I've done a lot of fear of flying over the years, as well as all sorts of other stuff. But, they'll often say, well, how will I know whether it's worked or not until I fly? Again, flying successfully is the result of the change. But if someone's sitting in my office at the beginning of a session going, well, every time I think about flying, I freak out. And I say, well, you've got a flight in 3 days' time. How do you feel? Don't like it. I'm feeling anxious. And then at the end of the session, they think about flying, the same thoughts, and their body has total calm in them. You know something's changed. The change happens quickly. Don't confuse the change with being the results of the change. So I hope you've enjoyed. Again, as always, I'm going to be releasing more of these videos all the time, sharing my thoughts about change, personal development. So click subscribe, click the bell so that you get notifications as to when these are released. And if you've got any specific topics that you want me to talk about or share my thoughts on, then start engaging, leaving comments, ask questions, and it would be great to hop on and do that. See you all soon.